This is the Air Check. The Air Check. The Air Check with Mike Lemons.
The Air Check with Mike Lemons.
Welcome into another edition of the Air Check with me, Mike Lemons, broadcast coordinator of the radio broadcasting program at Lewis and Clark Community College. This is a show where we catch up with former students to see how they're doing and just have some fun with it. On today's show, we have, I'm really excited about being joined by this guy. It's Mikeith Teague, who was in our program just a few years ago. And his rise to fame has been pretty much what we would consider to be meteoric in this profession. So without further ado, here's DJ Mikeith. What's up?
Hey, what's up, Mike? How you been?
I've been great, man. I miss seeing you around here, but you know, the years kind of run together. It just seems like it was yesterday when you were here.
Yes, it definitely feels like that. And especially every time I come in town, I turn it on the station and stuff. Hearing the first years and the second years, it just brings me back to WLCA.
We'll talk about your time here in just a little bit, but as people could see from that graphic, you're on in 3 different markets, on 4 different radio stations. Many people in this area will remember you from being on Z107 and The Beat, which you are now. But your home base now is in Atlanta, correct?
Yes, yep, that's correct.
But you're also in North Carolina on a station there. So tell us about how all that came about and how 1 minute you're in my office saying, man, things aren't happening fast enough. They won't let me go. And I said, be patient. And next thing you know, you're in four different stations in 3 different markets. Tell us about that a bit.
It definitely took patience, and then and just working hard, and always being available. Like when they call my name or even call my cell phone, I'm always just a call away, and then I'm up at the radio station. So it's just been really just grinding it out and really being patient and just trusting the process. You know what I mean?
Right. And that's fantastic. So you're in Atlanta now, which
yes,
that's a major market. And it seems like it's a town that's perfectly suited for you. Has it been fun so far?
Oh, I love Atlanta. I love it here so much. The weather compared to the Midwest is 10 times better too. Not to crash on St. Louis. I love the Lou still, but right here, I love it a lot. And just like you said, this is a top 10 market in iHeart. So it's been a challenging transition, I would say. And when I say challenging, I don't mean the radio aspect, just getting equipped to the city and how fast things are down here compared to the Midwest. Right. You know, because like, let's just say music wise, you know, this is like the music city right now for hip hop, for pop, a little bit of country is here too. So just really being in tune with the fast pace, like it just really took me a little bit to adjust to that. But other than that, I love it here. And like I said, again, the weather's here. Oh my goodness. The weather is so perfect. It feels like summer every day. I love Georgia.
And I'm sure you're out in the town a bunch because you also DJ. You do regular DJing gigs, which we'll talk about in just a minute. I want to ask you something specifically later. So you leave here. You interned at Hubbard, correct? Hubbard Broadcasting. And then you went to work in promotions at iHeart, if I'm correct, right? Yeah. And then that slowly developed into some fill-in on-air work, and then you ended up at the Jordan and Christie show, which was a morning show. Take us from that point, from when Jordan and Christie, things. I think you started in North Carolina there for maybe. So just kind of take us through that process and how you went from Jordan and Christie to what you're doing now.
So what I'm doing now? Oh, yeah. Well, everything started with Z1077. So I started working there actually on my birthday. The funniest story ever. Like the program at WLCA really got me ready to be on air because I was telling people at the radio station, like, I really want to go on air. And then my opportunity came, and it wasn't like I had 2 to 3 days to get ready. It was like, no, go in the studio right now and do the show. I'm like, hold on, wait, man. Like, I have to prepare and everything. But it was honestly on the fly. So I started on my birthday, and that was June 2017. That was in 2017. Then I was doing overnights on Z for a year. Then I end up auditioning for Jordan and Christie. And like a lot of people just think that I got the position just being at the radio station, but it was a whole process. Like I had to audition, I had to do some extra things, but I started working Jordan and Christie's show full time November 2019. So we're talking like, what, 2 years ago, right?
A year and a half, yeah.
A year and a half ago, yeah. So I was doing that show, and then from there, that's when I actually got moved to North Carolina. So I started working in North Carolina after a year of being on Jordan and Christie, and that happened in October of last year of 2020. And then from there, I started doing nights on Z after the Jordan and Christie show was dismissed from iHeart. I started doing nights on Z in November of last year. So like some of this stuff is a little current, but the grind that it took to get to where I'm at right now, I wouldn't change it for nothing. Like it was honestly everything that I wanted. And a big shout out to Jordan and Christie because they helped me out so much. And like when I tell you Jordan is a radio guru, like the man put me on game to so much. And even Christie with her personality and just being bold and upfront. And they really molded me into the person that I am today.
You could tell when you were on the show that everybody seemed to mesh pretty well, and it was kind of a surprise, but that's the nature of the business, right? Not a surprise that you meshed well together, a surprise that show went away, but that's kind of the nature of this business sometimes, but that just opened up some other markets for you, so congratulations there. You were talking about the grind, and I tell students all the time, and I probably told you when you were here, we have a number of students that come to us with an incredible amount of talent that develop into a great talent, but it's the people who are really, really motivated and driven. Those are the students that things happen for them. And man, I can tell you, there have been very few students I've had over the years that were more motivated or driven than you.
Oh, thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. But being in the program, it's motivation. It's like I can actually turn this into a career. But I think some people lose the aspect of really believing that it can happen to you, and like my whole mindset was I'm in this program and I expect to get a job out of it. So I'm going to work hard. Like I'm going to stay over. I'm going to pick up extra shifts that people don't want because, and the more you do it, it's the better that you get at it. It's almost like anything you do in life. If you do it over and over and over and over and over again, I wouldn't say you will be an expert, but you will be good at your job. But that's just the grind of starting in the radio program and just taking those opportunities.
You talked about some of the things that you learned from Jordan, and you even talked about being able to hop right in on your first opportunity. Tell me about your time here in the learning process. Obviously we didn't teach you everything, but did we prepare you for that initial start? Did we get you ready?
Yes. I still remember the day when I was at iHeart at Z1077, and when they told me that I was going on air. At first, I thought I had like 2 weeks to prepare, get ready, get everything in order. But no, they told me I had the job, and literally in 2 hours, my show started. So I had to go in the station, start prepping, get ready, get my phoners, the whole 9 yards. But being at WLCA and grabbing that experience, and just like I said earlier, and by picking up those extra shifts and by doing the little things, staying overlaid, fixing this audio, it really helped me out because when they told me to go in the station and cut my show, I'm like, okay, I can do this. I do it live on WLCA every Monday night. That's when I was hosting The Message, if you remember that, Mike.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. And so it was honestly, it was an easy transition, but it would have never been easy if I would have never started at WLCA, because being live and you air checking us in front of the whole class, bro. Yeah.
How did those go? Students over the years, they tell me that they learned a lot, and they'll tell me, man, I got so mad at you when you did this or whatever. How did you take most of those? Were those air checks? Did they sit well with you? Or were you like, no, he's wrong. He's not right.
Do you want my honest opinion, Mike?
I do. Yes.
Oh, man. I used to hate those air check sessions. In front of the whole class, it was nerve-wracking, but honestly, I loved it at the same time because you just get feedback, and not only from you, but from your peers too, and it just develops you more.
And that's it. Something that I could tell you, somebody else could benefit from, or you can hear something a classmate does, and oh, I want to try that because that sounds like a really good thing to do there. It's not a thing that we set up to embarrass you or to create this competition, but in a way it does, but it's really a motivator. I think, and that's why we do it. And I can see, though, where it's kind of nerve-wracking for the students, but you came out all right on the other side, I think.
Oh, man. Now, my first year, I was a mess, bro. Panicking every air check session. Mike, throw up the USB drives. Who's first?
Right. Now, when you were here, you were also our promotions director in your second year.
Yes.
And that was a no-brainer. You know, I have students go through the process of applying. They're doing it right now, of applying for director positions. And with you as a no-brainer, it was going to be promotions. You just had that promotional spirit about you. So you did promotions for a modern rock alternative station. When you interned for Hubbard, you did promotions for a rock station, for a country station. Now you're with a hit radio station, which is kind of your zone and where you wanted to be. But that was kind of a learning experience too, right? I mean, promotions is promotions. You promote a product no matter what it is.
Right. Yeah. And that experience really molded me into the radio personality I am today, honestly, because when I first started doing the program, like my whole mindset was, I want to be a hip hop and R&B DJ or radio personality. Like, that's my lane. But starting in art rock, it really opened me up as being a radio personality and not a country radio personality or a hip hop radio personality. Like, I was labeled a radio personality, and that stuck with me because it felt like I could do any format. Like, if you put me in country, let me slap my knee and throw in the hat. I'm about to do country now, you know?
Right.
But it all started at WLCA because honestly, I didn't know what art rock was when I started. I'm like, what is this? I've never heard.
Yeah. I remember taking you to a concert. I don't know if you remember who it was. I'm trying to even remember who it was.
Yes, it was when what's the venue called? It's next to the pageant.
Del Mar Hall.
Yes, it's when that opened, Mike.
Right. We had some VIP passes for that event, and I figured, you know what? You're a promotions guy. You want to know the business. Let's go. And I remember going to that grand opening of Del Mar Hall, and your eyes were just really big. You were looking around, and you couldn't wait to go talk to people. I was like, just hold on, just hold it in, just look at the room, just to see what's going on. And it was like trying to hold back a horse about to run a race, man. You just wanted to let go. Young the Giant was who we went to see, I think.
Young the Giant, yes.
Yeah,
yep.
but that St. Louis scene is the same here for us that it is for Z107, but I'm sure it's a little bit different in Atlanta, and you're out in it, right? I mean, I think I saw a promotion, the NBA All-Star game was there. And did you DJ like an official NBA All-Star party or something?
Yes, yep. I did the gaming room where they usually go against each other in 2K and Madden and stuff like that. It was with Ahmad Green, former running back for the Green Bay Packers. Roscoe Dash was there, Big Crit, and this lady called Big Sue. She's well known in Atlanta. But yeah, that was an experience by itself. Like, bro, that was so much culture shock. I'm like, wow, I never experienced this. Like, actually standing next to Roscoe Dash, like a person that I grew up listening to, it was unbelievable. But yeah, the experience here has been great, bro. Great.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think I DJ'd. What else? It was something else that weekend. I can't remember, bro. It was a good weekend. It was All-Star weekend, so you know a lot was happening.
Right. I've talked to students about, former students about COVID and how that's really affected our business, because our business is big into promotion. It's big into concerts and going out and seeing people. So that's been a little bit rough. Are things starting to get back to normal, or what you envisioned it being, especially in Atlanta?
Okay, now when you say normal, do you mean St. Louis normal or Atlanta normal, Mike?
Either. Yeah, either.
And so let me be real. COVID does not exist in Atlanta.
Right.
Like, like, and so it's different down here. It's like its own world, bro. Like, coming from St. Louis, where the COVID rules were so strict, like you couldn't do this or that. In Atlanta, they're more relaxed and stuff. But yeah, it's starting to open up more. But the city down here been booming, like, since COVID. Like, honestly, nothing's stopping down here.
Now, I've seen a few interviews you've done with celebrities, and you know, you did one with Nelly recently.
Nelly!
I mean, that had to be pretty cool for you growing up in the St. Louis area and being able to talk to Nelly. Are you still starstruck, or have you been in the business long enough to where that, I mean, still there's a little bit, right? I mean, you still want to be starstruck a little bit.
Right, yeah, and I am a little bit, but slowly but surely I'm growing out of it, because just being in Atlanta, you're around all the stars. Like, I was just picking up food 2 weeks ago, and I was standing behind Lil Baby. and he's probably one of the biggest rappers out right now.
Right.
Like, you know, or like going to the club down here, I bumped into DJ Drama, you know, and so now since I'm around it more, I'm getting more equipped. But yeah, interviewing Nelly, my mind was everywhere in that interview. I'm like, oh wow, this is actually Nelly. But I'm getting used to it more, you know. Being down here, you will see everybody.
So not to give away any radio secrets, but how do you do 3 different evening drives in 3 different cities? I think I know the answer. So tell me what you're allowed to tell me.
Okay. So for St. Louis, I actually do that show at you're an hour ahead of us. Well, no, behind us. So my show in St. Louis starts at 5, so I would do that at 4 in Atlanta. And then North Carolina and Atlanta is on the same time zone, but we have different clocks. So I would just do those breaks live at nighttime, and that's how I do it. And for Z, I will actually do that show an hour before.
Gotcha.
The show starts. But yeah, it's mostly everything I do is live at night.
That's great. So let's go back to your time here a little bit more. We talked about the instruction. We talked about, you know, it preparing you.
Yeah, because the dog ate the steak.
The dog ate the steak. Right. So in little inside joke, you know, Johnny has an IQ of 170. Yeah. You don't remember the Johnny one? Yeah.
I don't remember the Johnny one, but the dog ate the steak. I definitely remember that.
So the camaraderie, we talked with other students about this and how you work well with the other students, not just in class, but helping us run this radio station 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. What did that mean to you? And are there any stories that you can share with us that stick out in your memory from when you were here?
Man, where do I start, Mike? Good stories or bad stories?
Either.
Okay.
You remember Joey Bradfish, right? You met Joey. We had a reunion show. I mean, a reunion week that you helped me pull off.
Yeah,
you were the promotions director. You're going from your first year to your second year, I think. And we brought back a bunch of old students for like a reunion of students that I've had over the past 20 years or whatever.
Yeah.
And Joey Bradfish, who was in Arizona with the John Jay and Rich show with iHeart as well, he and another guy, Nick Johnson, I just had them on a show a week ago or so. So a story that they shared was one time when they got in trouble. And Nick shared about how I yelled at him and told him to never, ever do that again. So you can share whatever story you want. I'm okay with it.
Okay. So this was my first week as the promotions director for WLCA. You just sat down with me, Mike. We was having this conversation about, you know, all this responsibility that comes with being the promotions director, like going to concerts, enjoying myself. And you was telling me, now, look, Mikeith, you're going to get concert tickets, and I want you to go out to these concerts, you know, enjoy them, but make sure you're in class on Monday, you know?
Right.
And I believe it was the 2 Chainz concert that weekend. I went with my friends and stuff, and that Monday I woke up late for class, and you drilled me, Mike. And it just made me feel so bad because I'm like, we just had this conversation on Friday, and now I'm actually messing up. So, yeah, that was probably one of my worst experiences with you, Mike, because it just felt like I let you down personally. And I took that to heart because, like, you still are a father figure in my life. So, like, and when I felt like I let you down, bro, it really tore me up inside. And then from there, you know, I was on a straight path from there. Like, I'm like, I can't mess up anymore. Do you remember that night?
I do remember. We've always had a hard, fast rule. Have concerts, enjoy the tickets, but you better be in class the next day if there's class.
You better be in class. If not, oh my goodness, Mike, man, bro, you was drilling me so hard, bro. I was so embarrassed because it was in the class. I showed up late. Then you talking to me, pointing it out. I'm like, come on, Mike, okay, I'm already late, bro. Don't rub it in.
But, you know, we've always kind of walked the fine line between work and play here, I think, to where I want it to be a fine line. You know, if I'm at a concert, you're at a concert, that's cool. But
right.
if we're both out at a concert, I'm going to be in class the next day. So I expect you to be in class the next day. Because if you don't, you kind of cross over that line of work and play, boss and friend. You know what I mean? And I feel the thinner the line is, the better students learn and react. Or they feel like they've let me down, which seems to have motivated people to do things in the past. So I like that line to be thin, but don't cross it, right? That was kind of always the motto. And hopefully that's something that stuck with you, and that's something that you think about now when you're doing whatever it is.
Oh yeah, always. Now I set like 10 alarms because I'm like, I can't be late. Because that example from WLCA just really stuck with me forever, because I'm like, I can't let these people down. Like, if they expect me to be here, I need to enjoy myself, still go to this concert, but be able to wake up for work. And that really helped me out. Like, now I probably go to, and when COVID wasn't happening, I was probably going to 5 concerts a week. And then I had to be at work at 5 in the morning, but
Right.
The excuse can't be, oh, I overslept. Like, no, they don't understand that, because you're supposed to be on air at 5 in the morning. Where you at, Mikeith? So that experience definitely stuck with me.
Yeah, excuses that students can use, you can't use in the real world. And so anytime today when students still give excuses, I'm like, okay, try that out in a job somewhere. So you're from Alton. And you're proud to be from Alton. You talk about you're being from Alton. There's some elections last night to where some really cool people got elected. Not to play politics, but how is it being away from home and letting your career take off and still think about your roots in Alton in St. Louis?
I'm still in St. Louis, even though I'm in Atlanta. I'm still in Alton, even though I'm in Atlanta. I still take those very seriously. Like, even with the voting last night and stuff, like, I was helping out, even though I was in Atlanta, just, informing people about the election, who to vote for, what this candidate is about. So, like, I'm still in Alton, even though I'm not physically there.
How does do you still air check with bosses? Do you still have weekly meetings in Atlanta, and do they still go over what you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to do?
Yes, bro. Air checking doesn't end. Like, it doesn't. But now I'm being air checked by, like, my big bosses, like John Ivy. If you Google him, he's over our top 40 format at iHeart. Who else do I air check with? I air check with my PD every Thursday. I air check with my program director in St. Louis in North Carolina. It honestly doesn't stop.
You mentioned in one of your bios that you were a proud graduate of Lewis and Clark. Does that still hold true today?
Yes, proud graduate, bro. Without Lewis and Clark, I wouldn't be here right now. I wouldn't be behind this iHeart logo without Lewis and Clark.
I don't do it to search for the praise. I'm proud that you're proud to be from here. But understand that your success is all yours. I mean, you're where you are is because of you and your drive and your determination, your willingness to get better. And being able to use you as an example for other students, I appreciate, and that's a debt that I can't repay to you. So thank you for that.
Man, no, Mike, thank you for everything, bro. I still have the screenshot when I believe I was late registering for classes, and I inboxed you. And you let me jump in and stuff. Like, I really appreciate you, because without that opportunity, I wouldn't be here right now, because that was a point in my life where I was a little lost. And, like, I knew I wanted to do radio. I knew I wanted to go to school, but I really didn't know which direction to go in.
Well, getting to know you, Mikeith, it's been a pleasure and it's a joy. I hope you're someone I can call a friend forever. I think we're graduated to that level now. And if I ever roll through Atlanta, I'm gonna holler at you, and you're gonna have to take this 50-something out to the clubs with you just to show me what Atlanta's all about.
Hey, we can chill with DJ Drama, hang with Lil Baby. I might call up Justin Bieber. He gets teachers down in Georgia, so right. We can definitely have a good time. And I appreciate you too, Mike. Like, thank you for everything, bro. Like, without you, I really don't know where I would be, like, right now, for real.
You'd be somewhere tearing it up, maybe exactly where you are now. But thank you so much for joining us this morning, man, or this afternoon, or whenever this is going to view. Thank you for joining us. It's appreciated. And look me up next time you're in town, yeah?
I got you, Mike.
All right. That's DJ Mikeith on the Air Check. Thanks for joining us.